This school here in Moosonee, it's a focal part of the community. Kids from Moose Factory come over here to Moosonee to go to school at this high school by choice. The school becomes their center of socialization. To keep them in the building and to keep them interested, you need programs that are engaging. And we have a great technology program, we have a great outdoor ed program, and what we're starting to do is bring back the arts as well. So it seems like it's winning people over because the kids get to use the technology to make things that they want to make. We're going to do stop frame animation, right? But what we need is some sort of storyline or some sort of theme. So what we need to determine now as a group is, what do we want to do? The intention for this lesson is an introduction into film using stop frame animation as a vehicle for that. And it's also, I try to get a couple volunteers to man the cameras so that way they get more familiar with the properties of the camera, put it on total manual mode and get them to realize exposure, the ISO settings, and the shutter speed. First off, we all know how stop frame animation works, right? Yes? Right? It works on the principle that it's successive pictures, and the idea is to move incrementally, try to keep it consistent. If you got your hands up, you got to keep it up and then get it to go somewhere else. If you go from here to here, it gets real choppy. So the plan is to get the students as a large group, as one cohesive group, and to sort of say, okay, the idea of stop frame animation is you have a bunch of stills, and then when you stream it together, if you have a fast enough frame rate, you get animated film. And for me, what I'm looking for is to get the kids to throw me ideas and to say, okay, how about we do this? How about we try this? And when we actually get together in a group, sometimes one idea leads to another idea, leads to another idea, and then after half an hour, we have maybe 400 pictures. And if we have 400 pictures, we have a minute of film. So, does anybody have some good ideas?
We put our hands up and spin in a circle across the room.
Sure, that sounds like a good idea.
Calling the line.
Yep, we could do a calling the line. Robot. Okay. And what are the robots doing?
Fighting.
Robots are fighting. Change direction.
I think we should do races.
Okay, and what kind of races?
Chairs.
Chair race. Chair race is a great idea. Watch the camera. There's two ways that I look at this for assessment. One is the participation. And I try to make it very, very clear at the beginning that a project or a lesson like this, I'm watching to see if you're participating. And if you're actually, out there participating along as a group, that's part of the assessment. Here we are outside. Anybody else have another idea how we can use this divider?
We can put everybody behind it.
We can put everybody behind it. Now, how can we do that?
People like first ahead.
One person there, and then they come up, and then stop, and then put another person there, and then keep going.
The idea was for a magic trick to make an illusion about that everyone was behind the divider, but really it was only one or two. We'd take a couple of shots while one person was behind it, and then they'd pop out, and then they'd go back in, and then they'd walk away, and they'd stop taking pictures, and then they'd keep going and taking turns.
Okay, so what we're about to do now is to take our raw pictures that we've got from this morning, and we're going to stitch them together to create an animated film.
I think we should edit this and just delete those photos, and I think this would look good. Sure. Yeah, I agree.
The real, I think, summative assessment comes through when we take it back to the lab, and if we can have about 30 minutes, then we can stitch all the pictures together and we create a film. One of the key concepts that I try to get across, I guess, from a media standpoint is the fact that the idea of media literacy, which is not everything that you see is real. And a lot of what you actually see is not real at all, in that it's either scripted or it's fabricated. And so using stop frame animation, we can create these little magical scenes where people are coming out of a locker, say, or out behind some sort of screen, and it looks like there's more than one person there. And that for me is to get them to think, well, that's basically what's happening in a larger sense, in that when I look at an image of a magazine cover, how much of that is not real? And then to get them to make the extension of, if that's what's happening, then to ask the question, well, then what actually am I seeing? Okay, so our picture duration should be as low as it will go, which in this program is 0.125 seconds.
All right, well, I got this idea. We can fade it in, we could start it off, start it black, and then we can fade the picture in.
They're getting very familiar with the technology at such an early age, right? I mean, you could have a 12-year-old doing this. You could have a 10-year-old doing this. Do you have a title?
Yes, I do. It's right there.
Every project that we do, it's all submitted digitally. We have a folder on a network. Everything is given to me through that network. And then we also build a website. Each student builds a website, and they embed all of their digital projects into that website. So for the final culminating activity is we take a look at their website, and everything that they've done is tied to that website. The possibilities are completely endless. And with this type of lesson, the stop frame animation, I'm looking to the kids to see what can we do? And it's not about what we've done in the end. It's about what can we do.
I like working with technology because it's faster and easier with doing work and other activities.
It's all about, just being spontaneous. And through that, you get creativity, you get originality. And I think that's where we're actually headed with this, is to be, what does it mean to be creative? And if you remove materials, can you still be creative? And that is a possibility. And using stop frame animation, I think that's a great technique that actually works. The lobby in our school has a projector, LCD flat screen, which is attached to a computer. We just plug in our film, and at the end of the day, the kids usually come to the lobby on their way out to the bus. And if we've been doing a film, then the whole school gets to see that film that we've made that day. And it kind of brings it around, because some of the kids might have seen us in the hall and kind of wondering, what are those media guys doing today? And then at the end of the day, they get to see the actual end result, which is a short film. And it's usually about 1 minute to 3 minutes, depending on how many pictures we were able to get.
Everyone's been curious to see what we've been doing, and I'm pretty excited to see how it would come up with the editing and the music. So I guess they'd probably be as happy as I am to see it.
The kids were having fun. And that becomes, for me, synonymous with education, is that if you make it fun, if you make it enjoyable, it's a lifelong learning process. It really is.
Okay, now leave.